What was that face?
I did the. I don't know what
I'm
the
sorry.
theme for it is. The dun 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 dun, but I don't remember what that's from.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the What's in the Dungeon podcast. Sorry, you. I was gonna say that, and then I saw Murph making weird faces, and it threw me for a loop. Um,
For
that's
y'all sweet
Murph.
loop.
Murph without a hat on today, which I don't think I ever see. Like, I don't think I ever see your hair.
Oh, speaking of which, it's all gone,
Oh, you got a little haircut.
and I trimmed my beard and
You
yeah,
did. Look at you, Murph. You're
cleaning
putting
up,
yourself
trying to be a
together.
real boy again.
And I'm going in the opposite direction with the hair that looks like I just rolled out of bed and the, I don't know, 2 o'clock shadow I get.
The 2 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, it's like a joke because it's not a full beard or a full anything.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
You do a better mustache than I do. I feel like you would do well with the Orlando Bloom, like Will Turner
See, I could, but did
goatee
you
thing.
know that my hair on my face is actually strawberry blonde and red? So it
No,
does not get any, like you can't see it. Like it grows and it just blends into my face pretty much. I grew it out once and really no one noticed except for the fact that my chin hair was a little bit longer. And it was terrible. That's Murph. I am Deep John today.
anti Murph.
I am coming out of a wonderful battle with sinus infection.
Cancer treatment.
No, definitely not as horrible as that. I've just had a sinus infection for a couple days. Um, I woke up and I don't know, Murph. This is just me, but in my opinion, our healthcare system sucks. But I started paying out the ass for my insurance this year,
And it got better.
and it did. I'm paying a lot of money for my insurance, and now I can go to urgent care as many times as I want, and they don't charge me.
Funny because it's like you would be paying for it anyway.
Exactly, yeah. So it was, I've been, well, let's see. In October, I got strep throat, and then I got strep throat again at the beginning of November, and then I had a cold type deal in the middle of November, and now at the beginning of December, I have a sinus infection. And so I've been to the urgent care like 6 times. I haven't been charged once. It's nice.
It's neat.
With my
That's
previous
definitely
insurance, I had to pay a $50 copay, and I
every
would,
time.
yep, that's a very expensive thing to do. But I say all that to say that our healthcare system sucks because literally, I was like, hey, I think I have a sinus infection. And they were like, okay, why do you think that? I said, because you've tested me for strep, COVID, the flu twice now, and you sent a culture away for a long-term test, which came back negative. And I get these about every year. Like every time it gets cold and the pressure drops or it increases, I get sinus infections because my sinuses are full of demons. But I was like, can you give me, it's called Omnicef. I think the brand name is Ceftonir. It's like an antibacterial that really wipes out sinus infections for me. And they said, well, no, because the doctor didn't prescribe that to you. He just prescribed you some benzonatate, which is like a cough suppressant. And I said, well, if I'm sure it's a sinus infection, can't you just write that prescription for me? And they said, no, because he did not see any signs of a sinus infection. I said, well, I usually get them like every year, and like they always feel the same. It's not strep throat. It's not flu. It's not COVID. I said, it could be bronchitis because I can't stop coughing. But either way, can't you just give me some antibiotics just to be safe? And they said, no, that's not how that works. I said, oh, well, can you get me a specialist visit? Like, can you refer me to an ear, nose, and throat doctor? Because I do need that at some point. And they said, no, we're just in urgent care. I said, but I can set the doctor up here as my PCP. And they said, yes. And I said, well, can't we just say he's my PCP and give me a referral to an ear, nose, and throat? And they said, no, because you came in for an urgent care visit. And I said, that makes no
Not for your
sense.
primary care. Yeah, because it's
I
all
was like,
and it has nothing to do with the quality of care. It has everything to do with how they have to bill it so that your insurance will pay for it. Because if they do specific things, they lose money, and that's all it counts.
it's so
for, is
weird.
Who gets money?
It's so weird. Anyway, though, I have been out of work for 2 or 3 days now.
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. But like, yeah, I had a fever Monday, and I can't go to work with a fever.
That's straight garbage.
It has been straight garbage, but I'm feeling slightly
That happened
better.
pretty soon because obviously I saw you Sunday.
Well, so I felt a tickle on Sunday, I felt a tickle. Like while we were out getting
Drinks and
toasted, I felt a tickle in the back of my throat, and I thought, okay, it's probably just a cold because the weather shifted so much, and it was like 75 degrees on Sunday, and now it's back to 40 something. But then Monday, I went to work, and I came home, and I woke up like shivering and shaking with a fever and stuff, and I couldn't get warm and all that stuff. And I've got a really productive cough going right now. But anyway, so they said, no medicine, just go to Kroger and buy a bunch of this shit. So I went to Kroger and I got some Dayquil, NyQuil, Sudafed, cough drops, antihistamine, all that good stuff. So
I'm gonna get you one of those. And I only say this because I've tried them and it worked for me. Can't say that for everyone, but
I know what you're gonna say.
the
sinus rinses.
Yeah, they work.
No. I've tried them.
I think they're disgusting. I think they're disgusting. And they're very uncomfortable.
I've tried them, and the issue I have with them is that I don't have a. Like I did them last year because Troy was like, "Oh, you should get this," and I did it, and all it did was just kind of move it around and out, and then the next day it was all still back there again.
Did you do the one where it was just like it looks like a tea kettle and you pour it into your nose, or did you?
No, I don't. I just did it's like a bulb. It's like an enema bulb. If you've ever gotten an enema, it's like you just squeeze it into your nose and then it runs out the other side.
Yeah, you did that one. There is one that they have that I prefer. Now, granted, don't spend the money on it because if you don't think it works, it doesn't work. But there is one that it kind of looks like a tall rectangle, and it's got these two nose plugs on it. And basically what it does is it's a suction and a pressure one, and it basically pressure washes the inside of your nose.
I think Troy has that under the sink because it looks very scary.
You put it on, and basically you put warm water in it with the solution, and then you blow it, and it literally pressure washes the inside of your sinus cavity, but it also drains it into something, so you're not just like watching it fall out into the floor or something.
Yeah.
So it sucks and pulls all this shit out of your head.
Murph, when you rinse your sinuses, do you do it over the floor? Because most times I've seen it, you're supposed to do it over a sink. Now I'm worried.
It's been a while since you've been in my place. My sink is not the easiest to like lean over because.
Gotcha. And you have like a cabinet over it.
Well, no, I don't have the cabinet. My issue is that just my sink also does not drain very well.
Ooh, your phlegm would be just sitting there for a couple hours.
I got into this thing that Kim got me into with brushing my teeth where I have the tongue scraper, and I genuinely think that works.
Is that where Troy got it? Because Troy just got some in from Amazon, and I was like, why did you get 2 bottle openers? And he said, no, it's not bottle openers. It's a tongue scraper.
Mine is like it's got like 2 loops at the end, and it's like a thin piece of plastic in the center, and you just take the abrasive side to your tongue.
Yeah.
Scrapes all the shit that builds up and gets bacteria out of your mouth. It has made me feel like my mouth is cleaner. Personally.
Well, good. I've always said that you've had a really dirty mouth.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're a sailor as a sailor does. The issue I have is that I do that, and obviously there is like a buildup that then falls into the sink, and now it won't drain. So I have to physically go back in and like clean my sink every morning because otherwise it just sits there. I can't shave in my bathroom anymore for that same reason. So
that sounds pretty disgusting. Yeah, I know.
It's more of an annoyance. By the way, I don't know if you like seltzer water like I do. Don't know if you can read this. This is pretty damn good.
Polar.
Honestly. Yeah, it's the orange vanilla. I didn't expect much from it. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
Generally, I prefer water or I prefer soda. The seltzer water is this weird liminal space in between that I just can't get behind.
I don't like seltzer booze.
Same.
Are great ways for me to not drink sodas at home because if I do, I'll catch myself drinking a shit ton of them.
And it has a little bit of flavor, so it's not just like drinking horrible water.
It's not, and I don't mind water if it's cold, but the moment it becomes lukewarm, it's just kind of meh.
Well, I'm an ice water advocate. I always have our ice machine running, and it usually always runs out of ice because of how much ice I'll go through. Troy is not.
Doesn't have an ice machine,
which is so weird.
Individual cube trays.
My old one did, and let me tell you, I had like 6 of those trays because I would just go through ice on a regular basis.
I either have to decide whether or not it's worth putting food in my freezer or ice.
Which one do I want this week? Well, and it's weird because
I choose food almost every time.
It's my family. Like we always had ice or cold beverages. So when I go to Troy's parents' house, they have all their liquid just like out. Like they have a case of water in their foyer, like stashed somewhere. They have cases of soda in their pantry, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why don't you have this in your fridge? And they're like, well, we have ice. And I'm like, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. Like I'm kind of like that with sodas too. Like a not hot, but a like room temperature soda does not bother me because that's just how they were served to me for forever.
You are a demon. That is evil. That is horrible. How can you have a lukewarm soda? The whole point of a drink is it's refreshing. You can't have a refreshing soda if it's lukewarm or just room temperature even. Like what the heck?
No, it's refreshing. It's in the same way of like a not frozen Gatorade, you know?
No. This is horrible. Anyway, ooh.
We've already burned through 30 minutes of the hour.
It's only been 10 minutes.
10 minutes on that, but we're on limited time. Did I have a question for you? Shit, there was something else.
It's okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I was just gonna run through like the intro while you thought because I haven't really this is the What's in the Dungeon podcast where we discuss what's in the dungeon as a podcast. We discuss tabletop role playing games, video games, nerd books, all things considered when it comes to the world of weird nerdy shit. We also discuss random bullshit. Our first handful of episodes get really existential in terms of like what the meaning of life is, what the government's place in society is. Should you leave children in the car? So skip over those. It gets good around episode 10.
Have you sat back and like watched any of the previous
episodes? I have to because like they'll start playing when I go to our Twitch and I'll just get interested and I'll go, I can't believe we said that. But
it's more like I can't believe I said that.
We answer questions usually that we each have for each other, but if you have questions yourself, you can always tweet at us. At What's in the Dungeon podcast. You can email us.
As long as that's still a thing, I guess. After
true. We might need to make something else. I don't know the way Twitter's going.
There's a lot of people moving to Hive and stuff, but I really don't have to make another social media. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, Hive seems to be where everyone's going. But I'm all for Tumblr. I was a Tumblr boy.
I loved Tumblr.
I'll go back to
day,
Tumblr.
But it got real dark real fast.
It got real anti-porn, and the whole point of Tumblr was porn, Murph. I will stand by that.
That, and I was once part of a creator commons, I think is what they used to call one of them, where like they took a popular subject matter and then you would write questions to fictional characters and then they would have people answer those questions as fictional characters. I was in a Fire Emblem one.
That's interesting.
I played a character in Fire Emblem so that people could ask questions.
That's interesting. That
was like my first voice acting role. It was really
fun. That was your first foray into role playing as well. You were like, ooh.
as playing a character named Donald. I played Donald.
Donald, I see. Donald. That's
the farm boy because I had a country accent.
Of course.
So the question I proposed to you last time before the hiatus of last week.
Yeah.
And I'll take fault for that one, audience who might care. I was the reason that last week got fucked up. It was really busy between all the wedding shit and Thanksgiving.
Murph's getting married and also Thanksgiving, so we have to give him a lot of leeway.
But the question that I did ask was specifically, or the idea that we had was figures, props,
That's
maps. Right. The thing, like, how important is it? Do you think? Not in the gameplay, because obviously you can play the whole games without them. I mean, you can cut a piece of paper out and kind of make whatever you want. But do you think it adds to the experience, or is it just a nicety?
So I've actually given this some thought in the last 30 seconds. And here's what I have to say. A resident expert who definitely forgot that was a topic. Well, so like I hadn't planned on doing that. I was going to text you at like 3 when I got back from the doctor. Oh, okay. Side tangent. I had to go get some blood work done, and part of that they have to do a urinalysis. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I've never had this happen, but I literally could not pee. I drank like half a gallon of water before I went, like I always do, and I literally was in the doctor's office for an hour trying to piss, and I could not piss. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. This has never happened. I'm wasting all of your time. I'm going to leave now. And so they did like an oral swab instead of the urinalysis and some like skin cell stuff. But I was like, this is the worst day of my life. I have a sinus infection. I went to the urgent care this morning, and since it's not communicable, they told me I could still technically work or go to my appointment. So I went to the urgent care at like 9. I was there till 12. And then I had my appointment at the actual doctor at 1 o'clock. So then I immediately had to leave, come home, then go back to the doctor's office in Portsmouth that I go to. And then I was like, Jesus Christ. I sat there for 20 minutes filling out paperwork because my brain was not working. And I finally get taken back, and I had to wait an hour because I couldn't fucking piss. They gave me like 3 extra cups of water, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to leave now in disgrace. Literally the worst fucking day of my life.
Don't feel too bad. You know, it's probably been worse because you know there's people that go in there and procrastinate because they know they're going to get caught for something.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just don't piss.
Yeah. Well, it was fine.
Thank you.
And they were very understanding and very nice. And the lady who took my blood has the same birthday as me, which was cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Anyway, so when it comes to miniatures, or we'll just say like various errata for D&D, I know y'all like that word. In my current campaign, there's a place that I've titled the Repository Errata, which ERRATA is like a sort of semi-Latin word for miscellaneous things or miscellany or random nonsense. But of course, all they heard was the erotic repository. Or suppository, I think was the joke. The erotic suppository. But when it comes to those like very weird things that you can get, I think they're helpful because like part of me wants to say that D&D has a very low entry level like cost, which is true because, you know, as long as you have like the first campaign I ran was with the starter set, which was like $30 at Target. Like the Mines of Phandelver campaign, it comes with character sheets. It comes with a really basic rule book that's like 20 pages. It comes with a campaign from level 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, and it comes with like 12 or 6 character sheets. Excuse me. The issue though is that as you go through it, it comes with its own maps, so like it's easier to run. But if you're doing your own thing, you have to pick one or the other, because either if you don't have those extra bits, you have to be very good at describing things, right? Because if you don't have a map with which to put your characters on or your mobs on, you have to describe the battlefield in explicit detail, because otherwise your characters are going to be really confused about what the fuck's going on and why this character can't cast this spell but this enemy can use this area of effect ability. Because, you know, you might not describe the fact that there's a 10-foot wall 20 feet away that creates an arch that allows the character to climb up and spit acid from the ceiling of. But if you don't say that, then they're not going to know and they're going to get confused. So the use of miniatures and maps especially is really helpful, because I'm doing 2 campaigns right now. I'm doing one in person, one in online or through Zoom or whatever nowadays.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, well, that's the one I do with
wait, you did tell me about it. It's the one with the...
That's the one I do with my cousin and some of his friends. But they're not from around here, so I run it over Zoom. And it is significantly more difficult to play when you don't have the level of detail that comes with a map or a miniature, because I just have to really get in the habit of describing every single thing.
While you are doing that, I can imagine that gets kind of annoying, especially when it comes to like, now that I'm learning, because we're playing, things like character distances, movements, speeds coming into play, because you're like, the person is in front of you. Well, then they go, well, I go to attack, and you're like, well, it's actually outside your range. I forgot to mention that they're 35
yeah,
feet,
they're or even just 10 feet, you know, because melee is only 5 feet.
Because now you have to go. Now, do you use any sort of like website tools where like you can give them a brief overview of kind of like what something looks like?
I don't. But this is when you have to know your characters, or you have to know your players. The people I play with online are not super detail oriented. Like, they don't really care all that much about the layout of the battle and the use of spell economics. Jesus, they're not super like that's not where their interests lie. Like, I've played before where people like literally, you can get on Amazon it's like a little circular plastic piece that has all of the different spell
effects,
like not effects, it's like ranges. So like it's a circle. and you
so
can
if
use it
set
for
your
either a
character on it,
cone.
and if it touches,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's got various ranges across. It almost looks like a sort of like something you'd use when you're making a map. It's got like different ranges on it. It's got like a triangle for the cone. It's got a cube for when you have a cube. It's got radius and diameter, all that good stuff.
I saw somebody on a TikTok that showed up randomly have one for their campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a Warhammer campaign, but they did the same thing. It's like a big piece of plastic that shows the area of effect in scale to what your map would be.
Yeah, and I think that is that's helpful like for some people, but some people just don't really care, and that's fine because it's like that's one of the details that I just don't really specify. So like when I do combat with them, I'll just describe like the area they're in, like what their immediate vicinity is. I'll describe where they're set up at, you know, who's close to whom, who's in range of whom, and then it just kind of describe combat order, and that's it. Now, like I've played online before or without miniatures before, where I really need to get into more detail. I have to say, this is the range at which this person is. This is the range this person is. This is how far away this person is. But they're not super. What's the word? They're not drawn to that level of detail, and so therefore I don't feel like I need to provide it. If they are looking for something specific in the combat scenario, they'll ask, and I'll say, yeah, it is. There's a dresser right across from you. Or no, there isn't, if it makes sense. But they're pretty lenient on what they ask for and don't ask for. Like, they're not going to fault me just because I forgot to describe something. Mainly because we don't have that level of detail that a map or miniatures have.
Understandably. I'll be honest with you. Between what we've done so far with our group and my experiences for my online games, for the like kind of not D&D but D&D inspired games we played, nothing faulting against Doc and his campaigns, but I have appreciated the in-person gameplay more.
Oh yeah,
because I like the immediate feedback you can get from things, and there's less, like, even if you're not 100% paying attention, you're still in the moment, so like, you know, so like I can be researching something, but I'm not having to like feel like my brain is multitasking because I'm still involved in what's happening at that specific moment. And I appreciate it way more. Like, I've had much better experience with this campaign than I've done anything else I've done even remotely close.
And I gotta say, I mean, I'm feeling the same way lately. I really have enjoyed the campaign. I'm actually, so we're going to we're going on an outing this Sunday, our D&D group, along with some other people that Murph has graciously allowed us to go with his work. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of annoyed that we don't get to play D&D. Like, I mean, I'm glad we get to go and do fun stuff, like theme park. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna drink. We're gonna eat. We're gonna ride some rides and have some fun. But at the same time, I'm like, damn it, I don't. But it actually worked out because like this week I was gonna do some riding and I haven't had time to do any riding because I've just been dog sick. So it works out. But at the same time, I was like, damn, we're gonna miss a whole week of not being able to play D&D, and it's just it upsets me to a point.
And it's actually caused me to think about it. It's now, I told you this last time. Like, now Sundays have become something I look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am like, I have a thing that I do on Sundays that I look forward to doing. Like, it is something to get me through the week. I have a goal to get to.
Yeah.
And I realized something, and I guess I can disclose this with you now because I'm essentially canceling it. I didn't realize what not this Sunday but next Sunday was, which is December 10th, which was my 24-hour charity live stream.
Oh, damn. I forgot you did that last year.
Saturday,
you fucking
at
died.
3 p.m. was supposed to be when it started, which means it would not have stopped until 3 p.m. on Sunday.
I forgot about that. You did that last year, right?
I thought about it. I was like, damn, that means I would have to. We technically would have had to have canceled the week that we go to the thing, and then I would have had to have bailed on the week after that, which would have been super weird. That's almost half a month worth. That is
exactly half a month of not playing.
I'm just rescheduling this for somewhere.
I forgot that you did that last year, right? What you you had like shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I sold merch and stuff. We did it for the Trevor Project.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, and I was gonna do it again this year, but the more I think about it, like I'm already having to work Saturday, and I'd rather just not start it so late in the afternoon. So I'm just gonna move it slightly to the right. I'll probably do it on a day that like I can get home from work.
Maybe just make it like an 8-hour stream. 24 hours is a really long time.
Right, but there's so many other people doing charity out there that like if I want to do anything, I have to give it a gimmick that nobody else is willing
The gimmick could be that you do it topless and you got some nipple tassels.
I'm not.
Every time someone donates, you just jiggle the tassels.
that would be on the internet forever.
It would be. Murph, we've already been on the internet forever. And now I've already said it, so people are already imagining it. So you might as well just lean into it.
I guess I'll go ahead and talk to you about this too, because it kind of pertains to it. So I went ahead and got you and Troy Christmas gifts.
We said
here today.
No Christmas gifts.
So I'm doing it anyway.
Okay.
So Troy's got here today. Yours will get here this week. I want to get Josh something, and I almost bought him a custom shirt that said "The Angriest Elf in Stonevale."
That would have been very funny.
Because he gets so upset.
He gets upset at very minute things because that's who he is. And it was very funny because like I saw he didn't get upset. He got concerned. I'll say concerned because Murph wasn't filling out. He had gotten some temporary hit points on his character.
Yeah, I've been writing them in the same
And he's been writing them in the same spot as the regular hit points, but there's a whole other box for temporary hit points. And Josh was like Josh had to pause combat and say, "Murph, that's not where it goes. You're making me very upset that every time you do this, you're not putting it in the right box."
Okay, in his defense, as someone who probably is very OCD about those, I can understand that. I honestly didn't even realize there was a box under it that stated temp hit points. I was looking at it.
It was fun.
Because I just recently, last session, realized there's a spot that says total hit points.
It does.
I've been writing everything in the hit points.
Yeah, and it's in the character sheets. Yeah, they're fun. I think
that's my fault because I don't know the character sheets well enough. Like I still catch myself like looking over the character sheet to find something when it's right in front of my face. So I'll be honest with you though, you've been very generous with us as a DM for the gold pieces that you reward because I paid that fucking armor off real fucking quick.
You did. It's okay. The economy will adjust as it.
I'm assuming
at
some point it's gonna get rougher because you yourself stated we won't be in Stonevale forever. So
yeah, well, and also like as time goes on, you won't be needing to buy the base level healing potions or the basic level rope. You'll need the uncommon healing or the rare healing potions, stuff like that. So it's
stuff, yeah.
And also I've got things planned where you'll want some cushion of money as opposed to not. And also that quest specifically you guys are doing right now is gonna turn out pretty dangerous. So I figured I would.
Oh, thank you for that spoiler.
I mean, it was 100 gold each person. You had to assume it wasn't gonna be
there's something
going
on.
Just find this, go do this.
I do this every time, but I am curious just for context because this is the forum for that. Did we handle the teleportation circle as well as you thought we would do, or did we just fuck that up completely?
It went fine.
Because I feel like we went very unprepared. Like,
well,
I feel like you had an idea of what we would end up doing, and then we just did something completely different.
Here's the thing. I did, and y'all did. So they've accepted a contract where they had to basically... Someone has some inside information that someone's been kidnapped out of this, like, high security... not prison, but like watchtower, basically. And no one else is aware of it except the person who put the contract in and the group. So they went to this high security watchtower place, and they did not say, "Hey, we're the Nightshade Company, and we're here because we got a contract." All they said was, "Hey, we're here about a missing person. Can you let us in?" And so obviously the guards said no. So then instead of saying, "Oh, well, we're with the Nightshade Company and we got a contract," they then decided that they were going to disguise themselves. And Murph was going to hang outside for some reason in case there was some escape out of a place with no windows and no doors except for one. And it was great.
I had logic.
There was good logic because you were like, if the two of them got fucked up, you didn't want to also be put in prison. I get that. But it's funny because I was sitting there like, all you guys had to say was that you were the Nightshade Company and you'd been like you had a contract, like you had papers. But all anyone said was, "Hey, we think someone's been kidnapped. Somebody sent us here." There was no talk of like the actual job. It was just, "We're some random people. Let us in. We think someone's been stolen."
In our defense, we do default to letting Josh do all the talking.
That's true. And Josh immediately was like, "Furball, go!" And then he put Troy on the spot, and it was funny because Troy had to.
Troy's let his own anxiety spill over into his character.
Well, it was funny. It worked out. I think it fits his character well, and it was funny. It was like it was a moment. So they just the Furbolg disguises himself and they get in, and it was a fun time. You guys did what you needed to do, and it worked out.
Yeah, we got the information, but apparently it's because I can't wait to figure out what part 2 of this story goes, because this is gonna get weird.
It is,
especially since we just found out it's like essentially in our own basement.
Yeah. Spoilers, but yeah, it'll be interesting, I think.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. I mean, it's been fun. It's been an interesting blend. I hate myself while we play, because every time I try to do something that I feel like would be in character, like that time that him and Barley got into it, and there was supposed to be that intimidation, and I rolled a nat 1.
You rolled a natural 1 trying to intimidate a halfling. It was very depressing. I felt bad.
Like, that would have been such a good moment for me. Nobody else gives a shit, because Troy was on his phone and Josh was, I think, staring beams of hate into me.
Josh was like, "What are you doing?"
Josh starts getting mad.
He wasn't mad. He was just interested. That's his interested face.
No, he's not interested.
And Troy wasn't on his phone.
He's like, "I'd like to move the game along."
Troy wasn't on his phone. Troy was on his iPad, because he takes meticulous notes.
He is the scribe of all scribes.
And then he does not hear what was said, and then has to go, "Wait, what?"
Go back,
because he was taking notes from a thing an hour ago.
He is the most aloof Furbolg of all time.
But yeah, back to the thing that we started on. I think miniatures and various other things are helpful, but they're not necessary. Like, nothing's necessary in a tabletop role playing game. It's just, you need your imagination, you need someone who can describe things, and you need people who are willing to not get super what's the word? Not get in their own way. You kind of have people who are willing to loosen up and have some fun. But the miniatures do help, and the maps do help, and spell cards and the item cards and the graphs and the initiative trackers and all that shit helps. I mean, it makes it a lot easier to run a game when I can just plop a board down and put your characters on it and run you through the map, and I don't have to worry about describing every single aspect of the map.
I know from our end as the player, it helps me because it gives you some sort of like connection to what you're playing.
Yeah.
If there's something to look at, like, I'm not gonna say connection, like I've like got like an avatar I'm playing through, but like just having something there in the space makes it feel more like you're actually in it, instead of like, yep, there's an invisible thing standing in an invisible place doing an invisible action. Like, there's more to it. Like, I can visualize, I can see, I can kind of put my head space together and then go, well, this is what I would do, because I know where I'm standing and I know where something is in comparison. So it's been nice. It's been useful. I thank the D&D gods every day that we play that my character was rolled the way he was.
He's pretty,
because fuck, I take a lot of damage.
You do take a lot of damage. You do take a lot of damage. I think that the characters are all coming into themselves. I think the Furbolg's finally starting to get a sense of who he is, and I think Josh's character is moving in a way that's helpful. And it's difficult because everyone has their own personalities. So, like, there's the personality of Josh, and there's also the personality of Aramil. There's the personality of Murph, and there's also the personality of Irben. And I think y'all do a good job separating them. And I think that it's helpful when we can see that in a very real way, when there's stuff going on, but Aramil isn't spazzing out. It's just Josh spazzing out, and stuff is happening to the Furbolg, and the Furbolg is getting anxious, but Troy's just taking notes and stuff. And I think that that's helpful, because it's otherwise you get too caught up into it, and then you start taking offense at every little thing that happens. And when you realize it's just a time to have fun, and sometimes characters are difficult, then it makes sense, because that is the thing, is like, we're here to have fun, but our characters aren't here to have fun. The character of Irben is not in this world to have a party time and hang out with his friends. He's there to find his mom and his sisters, and to kick ass and take names. But Ben doesn't know that he's being controlled by a
28-year-old dumbass
who's having a great time. It's difficult sometimes to separate that from yourself.
It is genuinely one of the most less stressful, fun things I've done in a while.
It's pretty fun.
I cannot express how much joy this has brought me, and how much money I'm probably going to end up spending.
Murph, stop.
No, it's cool. I told you the only other thing I have on the books to buy genuinely is the book that has the majority of my subclass in it.
Mm-hmm.
and then the new figure that matches what my character does, and that's it.
I see.
Because I only spent $30 on the last one, so it's not like it's a huge.
I see.
I also think that the new one looks better, personally, with the beard and everything. I think it just looks more like who I'm playing.
Yeah, I tend to agree that second figure you showed me looks a lot better. Anyway, moving on. I've got a new segment, Murph.
Okay.
It's called Game of the Week. And it's a game of the week that I've decided to play and that I will tell you about.
On top of all the other things that we're doing. Got it.
Yes. Well, a podcast is built bit by bit, and if we don't have good bits, then it's not helpful.
Neat.
And we've
like at some point we need to have like a soundboard where you can press it, animations. Doritos.
Well, this is a bit. We'll see how this bit goes. So I played a game the last week. It's a very short game compared to what I normally play. So I was worried about it. It was $15 on Steam. It's called Strange Horticulture. And it's
like plant growing.
Yeah, like plant growing. It's currently it's $14.99 on Steam, and it has overwhelmingly positive reviews. It's developed by Bad Ike Viking and published by Iceberg Interactive. They've got some other games that I've played of theirs. But it's basically, it plays like a Flash game, like something you could open in Chrome or something. It's very basic. You just kind of go through and you inherit this plant shop or horticulturalist shop. And you own some herbs, and basically people throughout the town will come to you with needs, and you have to research what herb you should give them based on like the description.
So you grow, mix, do stuff like that, and then you sell them things, and then by selling things you make money, which will be used to buy others.
Not necessarily. It's not an economy game. All the plants are just there. You acquire them and then you have them forever. You don't have to do anything with them. Also, you don't make money. You just get either new herbs or you get a resource that lets you travel outside of town to pick new herbs. So it's kind of just
you're an herbalist essentially, like at the end of
this. But there's like a story going on all throughout the game, and it was a really chill. How many hours did I put into it?
The reason
4
I
hours?
describe as such is there was a game that I watched someone play where you do similar, but you're a blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was that you used alchemy to create various items that you could use in your smithy, but you would then sell those items, and then the gold you made could be used to buy other items that could be used to make alchemic products, and then so on and so forth. So I was thinking in similar vein.
Yeah, it's less like that, and it does have like a pretty set story. Like it's got 8 different endings you can get, and there's like 2 different factions you can side with and shit. And it was really fun. I'm not used to playing short games and enjoying it because I like having a huge, horrible beast of a game to play to take up all my time. It was like 4 hours, and it was actually fun. Like the characters were kind of well written. You don't really have any character creation options. You're just some gal whose uncle gifted her this shop after he died. And it was just fun. I liked all the different mechanics. Yeah, it was cool. It felt like one of those, did you ever play those games that came out on Game Boy or DS where you had to like find things? It was like a puzzle game, and you just like had to tap where things were on the scene, and it would help you solve a mystery. It felt like that.
Kind of like Professor Layton.
Yeah, but this was less
mystery and more
just figuring plants out. Yeah, it was fun, and I enjoyed it.
With a twist.
Yeah,
it
was enjoyable. I think that it was something I think I played like very quickly over 2 days, so it was decent. I enjoyed it.
To in that same vein, before I know we have to wrap up here shortly. Is there any other games, like bigger titles on the horizon that you're either gearing up for, or now that you've beaten Witcher 3, you're going to move on to?
Well, I beat Breath of the Wild, which took me an age. Awesome. I also so Cyber Monday saw a bunch of retailers drop prices on things, so I ordered Link's Awakening.
Oh, neat. That's it's chibi, like almost like illumination animation, but like not bad. I'm excited. I got it for Kim. If she's not going to play it, I probably will. Though I may have bought it digitally, so that might make it a little bit more difficult. But she has it. Those kind of games frustrate her because she does not have the hand-eye coordination to play a game that involves like don't die.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I bought me and her the new Pokemon games. That's next on the agenda.
Well, that's fun.
I will state, remember on your repertoire of games, last Christmas I got you Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 remastered
Yes.
for the
Switch.
So that's, and I still think it would be cool to watch you play through that and explain it from a DM's perspective.
I was actually thinking about doing that,
world.
but because they don't use 5e, there's actually a game out now that does. It's called
Is that the new one that's like almost out? It's in like
no,
beta or
Baldur's
alpha?
Gate 3 uses Dungeons and Dragons, but it's kind of like a hodgepodge of different rules. The game I'm talking about, it's called Solasta. It uses very specific 5th edition rule sets, and I enjoy it a lot. And it also has different campaigns in it, like an actual thing.
Cool.
So it's pretty fun.
Does that play more like Gauntlet, or does it play more like
No, it's like D&D. It's like turn-based.
Okay.
Like settings. You've got a map. You've got all this like abilities and spell slots and things like that.
Is it like if you could picture like a game-made tabletop kind of thing, or is it more like a okay? So
it's like that. It has like some.
It's not like JRPG, like turn-based RPG, but it's like a. Because I used to play. There was a game called Class of Heroes on the PSP days, and it was a text-based RPG with visuals, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was a dungeon crawler, but it was the old school kind, like you'd see on like the like DOS.
Yeah.
Like you moved one frame at a time, and then if an enemy appeared, it was a text-based combat, and then you would continue the one frame at a time movement.
I see. But yeah, so I have Link's Awakening at some point when it ships. And,
That'd be fun.
And then no, I don't usually tend to play big releases until much later. The only few that I have has been like Cyberpunk or Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, I know that Castillo Protocol comes out soon.
Yeah, Troy's super excited about Callisto Protocol. He's gonna definitely play that. And then at some point we'll probably play the new God of War. It looks pretty fun.
Ragnarok, I've seen spoiler amounts of crap, so not that I know what the hell's going on. I've just seen a lot of major moments. So it looks great. It sounds great. The team seems very proud of it. I'm happy it was made because people really love those games.
Yeah, I played the new one on PC when it came out, and it was really fucking good. What did I play that on? Is it on Steam?
Yeah, it released on Steam under the PlayStation Publishing because the new Uncharted 4 game just dropped on PC under that same publishing.
I don't.
Unless it was on Epic.
Yeah, it is on Steam. That's right. I forgot. I don't know. It's just weird to play a PlayStation game on Steam.
Don't know if you care or if you're into the universe or not, but on Epic right now, Star Wars Squadrons is free.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I haven't played any Star Wars games lately because they're just kind of meh.
Last week's game was the free game was the Evil Dead game that released.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I picked it up just because I love the Evil Dead
series. That's a fun series. I enjoy it.
I'm a fan of Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell's a personal hero. Until he does something horrible, and then I'm going to have to say he's not.
Yeah, he hasn't had anybody come forward or say anything. Not to say that means he hasn't done something, but I'm just going to hold on to the fact that no one said anything yet.
Yeah. Jeez. Anyway,
Yep. But it's about 8. You want to wrap it here?
Yeah. Sorry, this is a bit of a short one. We missed last week, but my voice is slowly going out. And I know everyone really loves the sultry tones I'm giving right now, but I need to go drink some hot tea.
Well, I hope you get better, man. Obviously, if you don't feel well by Sunday, just keep us posted. I have some information that I'm going to be sending to the group chat about that I picked up. I got the tickets yesterday, and I didn't realize that there were instructions about like where to go, who to talk to, what gate to go in, that kind of stuff in it. And one of it is a timeline for events happening within the park so that you can kind of get there when you're closer to the thing you want to do. They're not starting lunch and stuff until 11:30. The park opens, but like the lights don't turn on until 2, and Christmas Town isn't open until 6. I don't know how late we're trying to stay, and I realize that everyone's riding with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to get into that on the podcast necessarily, but like it's just things to be conscious of. So I'm going to send it to the group chat, and then we can kind of decide whether or not, if people want to leave earlier than other groups, maybe it would be easier to ride separately, you know, that kind of thing. So we'll figure it out. I just don't want anybody to feel trapped because one person doesn't want to leave or something.
I always feel trapped.
Especially in cars like we drive.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, man.
Everyone take care. And whose turn is it?
I asked you last time, and you just said friendship, and
that's true. All right, Murph. What's in the dungeon this week?
What is in the dungeon is a wonderfully as you open the door, is a wonderfully aromatic scented candle.
Oh, okay.
But the scent is not anything that a mortal nose can identify. What it encapsulates as you smell it is your happiest childhood memory.
Oh,
One whiff of it will trap you in your own mind,
oh my
reliving the
God.
entirety of your happiest memory.
This does not sound good.
But every time you smell it, it gets harder and harder to release yourself from the illusion.
Okay. Well, this sounds
And that's what's
problematic
in the
now.
dungeon.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna close that door. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to smell my childhood.
It's that sounds awful. It sounds like you just found like the worst pair of prepubescent underwear that's never
Yeah.
been washed. For
Don't
like
want to. Don't
a
want to.
year.
Don't want to smell that. I'm good.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you to anyone who watched this. We appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who supports us weekly, which I think is just like 2 or 3 people, which is fine.
That's still dandy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I hope everyone has a great week, has a great start to December. And I've been John, that's been Murph, and thank you for listening. Have a great night.